start with the number change. What went into that?
I just wanted to be under 20. So I had a couple options. 18 was like the last. It was like 18, 19, and 2, I think. But then we signed Russ, so he went to 3, so that moved Tae to 2. So that was just like, put me in 18. No personal reason.
Speaking of also Darius, how was it playing with him? What kind of connection you had going with him?
It's been awesome. You know, his knowledge of the game has shown already. You know, obviously he has amazing talent with the ball, accuracy, great touch on the deep balls. I don't really know that he's missed more than 1 or 2 deep balls this whole camp. You know, he's really accurate, really smart. Has helped keep us in good plays, you know, throughout the whole camp. So his impact's been felt for sure.
Wan'Dale is such an easy ball to catch.
Yeah.
Where you hit your hands. Are you finding that too?
Yeah, definitely. It just has nice pace, even spiral, nice pace. You know, a firm ball that gets to you so you don't get killed, but, you know, smooth enough to where like it's very catchable.
How much do you think that should help you, right? The idea that he throws that good deep ball and that kind of plays into what your strength is, obviously. How much should that benefit you theoretically?
A ton. You know, I love going deep. That's kind of how I, you know, made my name, so to speak, in the league, was, you know, making plays down the field. But, you know, it's not just myself. You know, all of us can run. Malik can run. Jaylin can run. Even, you know, Wan'Dale's mini. His mini legs be moving, you know, so he can run too. So, you know, and it's shown, you know, over OTAs it's shown. You know, I think everybody's probably touched the ball down the field from Russ at some point. So I think it'll help everybody be able to stretch the field and add some, you know, yards per catch.
Did you see some progress from Jaylin this summer, or this spring rather?
Yeah, he definitely, you know, what he was eating, maybe people or something. He came back swelled up, so he put on a good about 20 pounds, I think. So he's been stronger. He looks bigger. He looks stronger, and that's definitely, you know, helped his game some. And I think he's definitely made strides so far this spring.
How would you describe your chemistry with Russ so far?
It's honestly, it's been pretty smooth. Like it feels like he's been here longer than he has, and I'm sure some of that attributes his experience. And he has a very clear vision of what he wants. He's a very clear communicator. So, you know, as long as your ears work, all you gotta do is listen and do what he needs you to do. And, you know, the rest takes care of itself.
Well, what does that mean exactly? You say he's a clear communicator. I mean, can you give me an example of what?
Yeah, so like an example of, so he does throw a very good deep ball, right? But that's obviously his mentality. He wants to push the ball down the field and attack. So if we're in the huddle and we have a play, and, you know, there's certain plays where the ball is designed to go certain places. And so in his head, he might, you know, be in the huddle and be like, hey, you got the post here, but, like, you're not dead. You know, because a lot of times you might run a post corner, whatever different concepts, and the guy underneath always gets the ball. So you're the guy running deep, you're just kind of like running for the love. But it'll be like, hey, alert here, like the safety drives, I'll give it to you. And he's done that multiple times over camp. And so that's kind of what I mean by, like, okay, it gives you some, like, all right, you're going to run anyways, but it gives you a little extra juice of, like, I can really get the ball right here.
What do you make of the QB room? A lot has been made as one of the most interesting in the league.
Yeah, it's a interesting compilation of individuals, but you know, Jameis and Russ are, you know, that veteran presence. Jameis is a wild card though, just as a human being, you know. So having his personality around is amazing, but also, you know, they both have great presence and leadership about them. You know, you see the age is probably a little rude. The seasoning in both of them, you know, the veteran leadership they both have. And also, you know, you have Dart, you know, the young kid. He's kind of learning, finding his way, but he has 2 good mentors to learn from.
What's the most wild card thing James has done?
It's like, it's so hard to describe. It's just like how I'm talking right now, he'll be talking just like this, and it's just the random thoughts that come to his head, and they just come out. And it's like, we were talking about, you know, a slant. How did we get to Kentucky Fried Chicken? You know, it's like just hard lefts. Like, I can't think of an exact example, but like that's how I could describe it. It's just like random hard lefts, but then he comes right back on topic. So it's like, am I tripping or are you tripping? But you know, he's a really fun guy to be around.
Is that a good thing though, to kind of keep you on your toes?
100%, because like I said, he has the most unique balance I've ever seen of like light but serious. So he's very serious, like, because he's a quarterback. So he's very knowledgeable. He's very serious when he needs to be serious. But at the same time, he has a light energy about him. So it keeps, you know, people calm. You know, so it's not like you're not like nervous to play with him. You know.
So it's such a unique group. We talked to you after resign. It was totally unsettled. I think Tommy was probably the only guy in the contract. What was it like seeing these pieces come together? Just like your reaction as they did that?
Yeah, free agency is always chaos, So I think we signed Jameis first. So that was obviously it was like great, cool. We've got a veteran quarterback who succeeded selfishly as a receiver. Everybody's been receivers 8, so I was like, hey, cool with me. But obviously then we went and got Russ a little while later. You add somebody who's been a champion, a 10-time Pro Bowler, a true pro, and you look at the room, and then we drafted Dart. So you kind of have your young gun who's at one point going to get his chance to shine and show what he can do. So I think we have a good combination of guys.
You seem pretty energized.
Yeah.
For OTA number 9, is that because these quarterbacks, because of you've got a contract, you're not year to year here? I mean, why is it true that you are kind of jacked up a little bit here?
I would say so, because you're having fun. OTAs is the funnest form of football because practice don't kill you like camp does, but for receivers you get a chance to run around, get open, and catch the ball, score touchdowns and make plays. So, in my opinion, OTAs is the most fun as a receiver because you get the fun stuff without killing yourself and being dog tired.
Now, in
you can
other
actually
years,
run.
you've had OTAs, and
Yeah.
I'm sure you felt that way. But do you
For sure.
feel any different now with these quarterbacks after a terrible season and, feeling that there's a light at the end of the tunnel? Because, remember, last year you were pretty down on a lot of stuff.
Yeah. I definitely think that we have a lot of new energy, period. Just in the quarterback room, the receiver room, we've had some of our young guys, UDFA guys, that came in and played really good ball. So I think that's probably part of it. Now I'm, older, so just kind of feeling the youth, life of youth around me.
Do you think it
Think of you more?
Do you think it validated your decision to come back more? Just that energy?
Yeah, for sure. Obviously I came back because, I was confident in the direction that we were going to go in. And obviously once we make the acquisitions, obviously a lot of people mostly focus on the quarterback position. Once we, acquire the guys we have now, that obviously just raised the confidence level of, all right, we have a chance to be a really, really good offense.
How do you think the offense looked today?
We did okay. We started fast, and then we kind of had some lulls. Most of it was like mental error lulls, though, not physical errors. Just little, OTAs, there's a lot of stuff in at once, so you're going to have some of that. But, we did a good job of riding that wave, and then we ended up finishing practice strong. So, it was honestly indicative of a game. You might start fast. It's going to be a rough part, and you got to find a way to finish strong.
You were talking about your chemistry with Russ. How do you do it with Jackson this far? He gets in maybe one rep. You said at some point he's obviously going to come in. You don't know when that'll be. So how do you go about trying to establish with him as well as Russ?
Yeah, he pops in our group a good amount. Like probably, I don't really know exactly how many, but I know that I've been in the huddle and I don't always look at the quarterback. So I've been in the huddle. I've heard different voices and I've been like, oh, you're in. And so he's had a chance to get his reps here and there. But I know he's learning. Like I said, in OTAs there's so much information in. For a quarterback, it's super hard. So but he's done a good job of coming along. He seems like a smart kid. He definitely can spin it for sure. You can see the arm talent without a doubt. So I think he's got a chance to be a good football player.
How are you doing? So I think when they signed you, weren't sure if you're ready, and you're out there like 100%.
Oh yeah, I'm doing great. I'm doing good. Recovery is all going great, so I'm happy to be out there.
How important was it for you to be out there? Like, why? You come back from a broken leg, you could easily take it easy in the spring, right? Like, why was it important for you to be out there?
I mean, as long as I was just kind of following the protocol that the trainers and stuff had in place. So once they said I was good, ready to go, then it's just about getting in shape, being out there with the guys, building that team chemistry. That's so big when you go through a duration of a season. So being out there as soon as possible was definitely important.
Paulson, how would you describe your skill set?
A really aggressive corner, ball production, tackles. I feel like just a complete corner overall.
That aggressive man is what you really like to do?
I like to do everything. Aggressive, zone, scheme, man scheme. I feel like I can adapt to kind of everything in game situation, playmaking, matchups. So I feel like I could do everything.
Paulson, you're by no means an old man, but you're the most senior guy, I think, in the cornerback room. Can you talk about the younger guys and what you've seen from them and the chemistry you guys are building?
Yeah, definitely. Some of the guys are young, but they're definitely wise beyond their years as far as being able to take coaching and also being able to lead as well. I feel like we have a group of leaders, me, Javon, and then Newbin, but everybody I feel like, Drew's doing his thing, Tay's doing his thing, Flott's doing his thing, and then we got guys like Dane Belton, Heem, like everybody collectively is really coming together. So can't say enough good things about the group that I came into.
What have you seen from Tae so far?
Just really locked in. Really been playing great all OTAs. Really, just really impressed with his ability to move, cover guys, play zone, play man. super athletic, and then super fun to be around. So I feel like that was really, really good to see him. He's been doing good.
I think Shane mentioned that the leadership part was a part of the high expectations for you. Was that discussion as you got here, or like once you got here?
Yeah, for sure. I think for me, it's always about trying to put a good example out there, regardless of if I'm coming in as a veteran or even before when I was a quote-unquote younger guy. I mean, I played a lot of plays in this league, and with that comes the experience and being able to give people nuggets, and also be coachable as well, to be able to collaborate with those people that are around you. So that was a little bit spoken about as well, to come in and kind of, impart some of the experiences that I've had in the league.
Obviously it's OTAs, no one's in pads, it's not, the physical nature of it is not there yet, but what is your sense of what's going on up front? The linebackers, and then, the three tiers of this defense. A lot of, this defense could have very interesting pieces. What's your sense of how it can all fit together?
Yeah, I think it fit together really well. I think we're doing a great job of communicating and a really good job of executing and being on the same page. So that's one of the big things about being a cohesive defense, and I think we're doing that.
You've had some time in the defense now, right? Running in a practice. What would you say to someone if they said, what kind of defense does Shane Bowen have?
It's a really good one.
In what ways? Like, in what ways do you?
Ability to stop offenses, game plan against what they're trying to do, ability to adapt and do many different things.
What has stood out to you the most about defense? Any teammates or anything specifically so far?
I think just everybody's really locked in and doing their job, executing to details, and then playing with a lot of energy. Like, guys are really, really, really fun to play with, and that helps to be able to have fun out there. Super cool. I'm happy and excited to try to get a lot of turnovers, and hopefully I can put a lot of balls in there.
What do you think of the overall vibe about being a Giant and the professionalism and the approach?
Yeah, I think it's a great thing to be a Giant. There's great history here, and so being able to come into that, that's definitely a blessing, and I can feel the energy of the organization as well as the teammates.
You and Bobby obviously go back to Stanford. You was talking to us about just watching you grow up a little bit, but did you guys talk about ever once playing together in the NFL? That was ever a thought?
Yeah, I mean, we work out together in the off season and stuff. So briefly, obviously, the cards have to pan out, and they ended up panning out. But briefly, yeah.
But just being with him now, like, does it kind of just feel like, hey, I'm with somebody that I have a great relationship with, and we can just extend it over to the field a little bit more?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, just being able to either go to his house and watch film, or just talk ball with somebody that is a friend as well is always cool. The more you can connect with somebody, the easier it is to have those conversations where you're going up against each other and maybe challenging each other and stuff like that. So
the receivers keep talking about how Russ throws such a great deep ball. If someone's on the other side of what makes it effective when you're trying to break those up?
Yeah, I mean, he throws that thing high, so you really got to be able to get your head around and track it for a good bit of time. So sometimes it's good for receivers.
Do you get a sense of his leadership as well?
For sure, yeah. He has a great presence about him. As far as knowing what to say and when to say it, timing is really good about him. And then his professionalism, first one on the field, really just a guy that you can definitely look at and know that he's done it, and someone to look at and take notes from.
You've seen from Abdul Carter so far. I know you're at a different level, but
yeah,
he's in front of you.
Yeah, he looks really impressive, and then has a great mind on him, great mindset on him as far as coming in and ready to learn and work. And so, yeah, definitely excited about him.
What's been the biggest part of your? What do you enjoy most? About New York, New Jersey, a little bit, this area, the city.
I mean, really the team. Like, my teammates have been my most important part about this whole thing. So I haven't really been too worried about doing everything else about New York. I kind of just focus on the team. But definitely, as we get a little break, I'll maybe venture out and explore a little bit.